Blessed love, Trinidad and Tobago, internationally. This is Jah Defender to the world. Rastafari love and greetings, and this is my OMG interview. Boom! Well, Jah Defender has been singing reggae music for about 12 years now. You know, my first release was in 2006, I Don't Wanna Lose You, produced by Vishal Singh, known as Kid right now. And since then I've been continuing to be recording a lot of music. It may not be too strong in Trinidad, but internationally we continue the productions. I did an album. My first debut album was with 7C Records in Paris. That album was nominated by Reggae France and Reggaeville for one of the best new roots albums, alongside the likes of Chronix and Junior Kelly Sizzler at that time in 2015. And then also I did another album, another EP, Things in Time, which again in 2016 was nominated again by Reggae France and Reggaeville for one of the best new roots, one of the best new albums coming out, you know. So Jah Defender has been really busy, even though you don't really hear about my work much in Trinidad, but we've been Austria, Germany, Holland, North, South, East, West, Paris, and we plan to return again and continue pushing the reggae music, you know, positive vibrations. Yes, the Europeans love roots, rock, hard bass reggae music. They love the foundation reggae music. They love Dennis Brown, of course, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh. They don't only focus on like the new age reggae, but they really hold on to the old foundation reggae, which is the foundation. More than that we'll see in the Caribbean, you know. The philosophy is Rastafari, and Rastafari is love, you know, one God, one aim, one destiny, you know. It's a way of life. It's not a part really per se a religion, but it's really a basis on a Christ, liberty, and peace and love throughout the world, you know. And when I was younger, I always had this vibration for Rastafari, you know. And when I was going to secondary school, it was like, you know, that was the times when they didn't have Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj. It was Sizzler and Capleton and Garnet Silk and Buju and all these guys. So they were the superstars of the day. And just imagine the message was positive, equal rights and justice. So, you know, I gravitated to that because, as I said before, when I was younger, I always have to have something, a fascination about the Rasta man and the Rasta woman, you know. So growing up and getting some culture and listening to the reggae music, it guided me in a direction that when I left school, I started to seek for myself, you know. And here I am today, Jah Defender, defending Rastafari still, you know what I mean? And the reggae music is the form in which the Rastafarian will use to express himself, because you don't really sing other music, but if you listen to the one drop and the rootsy vibes, it's really more, it really coincides with the message that the Rasta man is bringing out. Well, I grew up with a single mom, you know. I big up to my mama every time, you know, Miss Mary. And growing up, I used to hear her singing a lot. You know, every day mommy's singing, every day she's singing Gregory Isaac, Whitney Houston, Patsy Cline. So I grew up hearing music and she could sing well, you know. So I grew up hearing that music. She even told me when I was in her belly she was singing all the time. So starting to sing reggae music wasn't a surprise to me when I started to really pursue it, you know. I went to... You can say 2006. Yeah, 2006 was my first recording. Before that I was heavy writing. But I have to big up Azik Bekela. He's one of the writers for Trinidad and Tobago, but he also has a studio, Next Level Studios. He actually introduced me to studio work, you know, so I must big up Azik Bekela for me getting that familiarity and that, you know what I mean, to work in the studio and still, you know, to record, no the reverb, no delays, no, you know, some little technicalities, you know. And when I was in secondary school, I used to be banging the desk. Right through every lunchtime we banging desks, we singing reggae, we mimicking Capleton, we mimicking Sizzler, you know what I mean? And when I used to go home, mommy used to say, you like this reggae thing, but she used to listen to reggae too, you know? And eventually now, I went by my brethren, because I grew up in Digo Martin, and I went by my brethren and he had one turntable, and he had about 4 rhythms, so we put on that and he said, Fender, at that time he used to call me Jah Fire. But they have another guy named Jah Fire from the south of the island, and you know, out of principle, they don't want to take his name. So at that time, he's saying, Jah Fire, why don't go home and write your own song? Instead of singing Jack, you're singing Jah Mason, singing Capleton, go home and write your own song. And from that day is when I went home, I wrote a song, I actually sing it for my mom. I And when I sing it for my mom, she was like, all right, son, it's songing good and you need to try and, see if you could still continue writing, Growing up with a mother who always singing. Going to school, you might sing a little Aswad in primary school. Then secondary school, you're beating the desk and you're singing until eventually you leave school. Start to pursue Rastafari. Because sometimes it's a calling where it's not really something you can just explain, It's just a conviction within yourself. Everybody have their own calling, no matter what faith they belong to, But what really guided me there was reggae music. Because in my teenage years is when reggae music were the superstars of the days, in 90s, late 80s, 90s, you know what I mean? So that's really a little small journey of me from a youth to now. Best times, the best times was mommy singing and seeing my mother happy was joy for me. And the worst times was seeing her not happy, basically, yeah. Well, after we have more tours coming up, festivals, projects, a lot of collaborations. I did a collaboration with Pressure Bus Pipe, I have a collaboration with Jah Defender, I have a collaboration with Phantom Moja. You can check it out on YouTube. You can also get my album on iTunes. You can get most of my singles on iTunes. You can check me out on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud. What's next is more projects, more albums. I want to work on a compilation of many of the singles that I've released and put it together. Then I'm working on another EP. And then I'm trying to also compile a roots rock album, but everything takes a little time. But as of now, it's just about basically promoting the new project that I'm going to come up with now, which is supposed to be a roots rock album. Big up to West Finger from in France and to Sonia. Big up to brother Joe. Big up to Dennis. Big up to the whole team in France, Paris. Big up to the whole team in Europe, because they are the ones who are producing this album. Yes, you have to be very patient. Life is patience. Patience is a virtue, And many struggles will come in life, for everyone. We just have to keep going through because problems will last, Problems always come, problems always go. Sometimes, like I won't get too personal, but my mom is not too well, so for about 4 years now. So just going through that struggle of seeing her going through that, it's really tough. So acceptance and patience is what I'm learning right now. Well, basically, what I could say is that we have a lot of talent in Trinidad and Tobago, reggae, outside of reggae, R&B, hip-hop. And I think that the powers that be should really set up an industry because besides it being profitable for those that setting it up, it's going to keep a lot of youths in a positive direction and give a lot of youths hope who have musical talent, whether it be a musician, whether it be spoken word, whether it be poetry, whether it be there are artists who draws, instead of stifling the youths. Because expression is a form of therapy, So if you have to keep everything inside now, you're going to expect a bunch of explosions, and then you're going to point fingers at the youths, and you're not really giving them an avenue to express themselves in an honest form. And I think that it's something that's very profitable as well for anyone who invests in it, whether it be the government or a private institution. So I think they should focus on actually caring about the youths and about their expressions. Because have a lot of talented youths here and they're going to waste. And plenty of them going to pick up on the roadside and they're going to end up in the wrong directions because they're not getting to express what is really bothering them inside. Whether it be mother, father, bullies in school, maybe you're not doing too well in school, peer pressure. And there's no therapy for it. And also one more thing, this is outside of music, but we need to really try and deal with the mental health of people because it's a very, very important thing. It's affecting young and old, and we don't have any proper solution for this. Because I live with my mother and she goes through that, and it's been a real struggle to really find a balance for her. And the person who is there trying to help her, it's been a struggle for them to find a balance as well. So TNT, we need to really dig deep inside and try to show some love a little bit, and from that little bit it was how to grow. We could nurture it and it was how to grow, because I could sit down here and talk about Jah Defender whole day, Jah Defender. Yes, I want to. And we'll go and check out my album, or we'll go and purchase my album, or we'll go and give me some likes on Facebook. But at the end of the day, I'm just one person, right? And for a betterment in society is a unified thing, not to get too intimate in the conversation, but politics is dividing us, and we need to do some brain. We need to start to think, about the betterment for the future, about resources in the country. What are we going to do if this happens towards everyone, because you have to love yourself as you love your neighbor as you love yourself, You do unto others as you want done unto yourself, So if you see your brethren down, or your sister down, or your mother down, or your auntie down, or your uncle down, instead of turning away and thinking about yourself, help them if you can. Sometimes a help is just a word. Sometimes a help is just a listen. Many people have a lot of things inside to get out. That's why we find a lot of explosions. People like they're going crazy. Don't get me wrong, there is delinquency, but not everyone is delinquent. Something starts somewhere, something trigger off somewhere, and we in Trinidad are not fixing anything. And that's the biggest problem. You know what I mean? Because if they fix it, it's going to benefit me, it's going to benefit everybody. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everyone, because they have good elders, bad elders, good youths, bad youths, but they're not setting an example, because everything is a race card. So we are blaming the government, but the majority is the same thing. So if the government is seeing that the people they're going with that, well, we'll make them work with that. Oh gosh. You know what I mean? So, and Rastafari is a big misconception about Rastafari in Trinidad, And when you look at Haile Selassie, and he was the example of Haile Selassie, he was never a man without morals and principles or of low standard, and I don't mean financially, I mean mentally. You know what I mean? So, there are many Rastafarians or many people with dreadlocks who are not Rastafarians. Rastafarians is not badness, we're not into gangsterism, we're not into to any negative vibration. It's all about nature, loving the Almighty and loving people. And anyone who is not setting that example as a Rastafarian, I can tell you they're not Rastafarian. So we need to clear up that misconception of the look on some people. Rastafarians are very clean, we're very educated. Everything is about your upbringing as well. So I think we need to, the Rastafarians and the way how people look at Rastafarians, I think they need to stop and think for a moment and to separate the wool from the sheep, because many people know what a real Rastafarian is pertain to someone who is just carrying the style and the dread, Yes, I. When I did my first album, my debut album, Big Up to 7 Seal Records in France, Herbidan, in Paris. When I did that album and it got me the nomination by Reggaeville and Reggae France, I was called to Martinique to do a show called it's a yearly show, annual show called Marley's Marathon on the birth date of Bob Marley on his month. And that was really the opening for me to go to Paris and to Europe. Because after that show, they called me again in Martinique, and I went back for African Liberation Day, and then bam, straight after that was my first tour, the Warrior Tour in Paris. Big up to iRebel Promotions, to Lily Drop and Steph. And then afterwards, Nat and Elo, they brought me again. Because once you go once and you do the work, and it's acceptable and you do it the right way, with the right people, they're going to call you back again once you continue with the consistency of good music, So I've been there twice. I've been to Germany. I've been to Holland in a Dub in the Park festival. And coming up in 2019, and I don't want to speak too much, but there's a little Rockers something. I know a lot of people familiar with Rockers, but there's a little Rockers tour going to come up in 2019, and I'm supposed to be carded there with Addis Pablo, So big up to Culture Roots artists in France, Sonia, for making that possible. Yeah, man. So these are the things you can look out for from Jah Defender. Yes, I would love Trinidad people to know my music, and I'm still working on it. But some people say, that a prophet is never really under his own land, but I don't want to see myself as this big prophet who is not under his own land. I just think that time is the master. So once we keep making the work and we keep creating the work and stand up for the people, more than just for a fashionable or for a reggae thing. Once we stand up for the people, the word is going to touch people, and eventually Trinidad is going to get to know more about Jah Defender. Well, my own kind of is a twist, Oh my God, I never thought my mother would have gotten sick so quick and go through such a mental trauma. So it hit me as a surprise, but I think it's something, it's preparing me for something. So I give thanks, Mommy, I love you. And to everyone who has a ailing parent or ailing family, be strong. And sometimes you get thrown down, or you fall down with the emotions, you might make mistakes. Just don't give up and rise back up, and remember that the Almighty is always there for you. And I have to say thank you to people like Giles Phelps, to Carlin Steeple, Daniel Mengo, and Kenwin Edwards, you know. These are the people who were there, and to Stacey Lee. These are the people who were there through my weakest point and even my mother's weakest point, you know. So the people that are there for you when you're down, make sure you give them back that love 7 times fold. You know, differences can come and go, but you hold on to the core of someone, you know. Yeah, man, peace and love. We give thanks, you know, for viewing OMG, my interview, Rastafari Love. You know, give thanks. You can check me out on Facebook, Ricardo Mills, aka Jah Defender, Jah Defender Official. You can go and give me a little like. You can go and click on, you don't know, share up. You can check me out on YouTube. You can purchase my album and my singles, the collaborations with Pressure, Phantom Moja, my latest works that I've done, produced by a lot of European producers. You can get everything on iTunes, you know. So you can support it like a card, and it's $1.99 for your song, $7.99 for the album. You don't know how the thing go, you know. Keep supporting good music, stay positive, and look out for Jah Defender, SoundCloud, Facebook, everywhere. Blessings. Stop you, them want try stop you, tell them run away. Yeah, King Selassie, I got and go through with the